So, tomorrow's video, well, on Monday, I'm supposed to, well, it's going to be another filler day, but then starting from Tuesday, well, at least if you're living here in the USA, then as we get Dotemu Eldritch Parasite, I'm supposed to be releasing basically one thing every day, because I've talked about it for like the past week or two, and yeah, I should probably do that by now. So it should be a character. It should be a character that I was basically working on. You'll know who she is. I've been working on her since, well, a while. And then the backstory here, which we have Nightly Aura, but I'm doing Eldritch Parasite here for the sake of randomization with Mimi. And the one last thing, yeah, is the Old God. So no Shackle here. And then on Friday, I don't know if I'll get the mystery complete because I didn't get to very well work on custom content that much. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I'll mention it again because there's a lot I have to say, but for timestamp's sake, as we get into Dotemu Eldritch Parasite Mimi, yeah, I'm doing my best. So basically, after Monday, because Monday's probably going to be another filler World of Horror episode because I need it. Strength, Light, Second Mystery, Charisma, Dexterity, maybe Takushi-san. Basically, every 24 hours after, I should be releasing something. The character should be first, because I'll upload her both to Steam and to Nexus Mods, because I'm doing a perm version, and that's basically where most, if not all, perm version that I know of is at. And then the backstory, Nightly Aura, that I made, and then No Shackle as well. So that's all I'm trying to say. I just realized we're on Eldritch Parasite again, even though I just clicked it on the selection screen, but maybe we get a good skip. Maybe we got a good spell, but yeah, I guess we're here for the History Club. So, as we get Kana, footage, ramen, television, and taxi, we take Kana first, but we still want to visit History Club. Normally, I wouldn't if I start with the weapon. Well, I'll say normally, it's Eldritch Parasites, who am I kidding? But you can certainly, especially if you have Kana, play with a weapon. Now, the question is, where are you getting the weapon from? But if you start with a weapon, it's a lot easier of a decision, I feel. Did I just get Cursed Doll Flesh Rerope twice in a row? I also just realized that since we get perm spells, then we have more in the pool of spells to roll on in the History Club. But, I mean, if I don't do this, I feel confident I lose most of my runs. Again, you can play an Eldritch Parasite perfectly fine with the weapon and play it normally, but you really, really, really want to strategy your run out, because otherwise you are going to either die to stamina or reason, basically. You could doom out, but that's a bit harder when your stamina and reason is a bit harder to maintain, if that makes any sense. I still haven't run through the calculations of whether or not you heal more stamina and or reason than Eldritch Parasite. I feel like you do, though, but and it's not just strictly from resting, too, because you can heal stamina and reason through events, you take the bath, so on and so forth. So you're actually healing a lot more than you think when you are just going through the game normally. Shrug. But, as I realize, yeah, we could do a thing here. Instead, what do we have again? We have television, taxi. So we could do Seaside, but I don't think we're visiting the Seaside much. And yeah, never mind, downtown. I'll say it once here, I'll say it again until World of Horror gets a substantial update in which I may need to recalculate things. But if downtown's at max threat level, just put the police patrols there. You're more than likely going to be visiting the downtown area at least a few times. But if you have a good reason, like if you are using your brain more than I am, then yeah, you can certainly just... I forgot what I was going to say because I realized I lose reason here, but it's perfectly fine for the moment. Yeah, if you know, like you have Ward and a Coma in the same run, and the max hospital is max threat level, yes, put your police patrols there. Anyway, as we autopilot for the next minute or so, yeah, if you want to hear what I was doing in the other days, aside from just, I talked about the emergency, no need to talk about that anymore. Trying to get back on track with game development primarily, because I was looking at basically the complexity of game design, or not game design, but the how much you want a player to think. That's not the correct phrase I want to use, but it's the one I'll use for now. So what I mean by that is, if it takes a player half a dozen steps to understand something, that's a bit much, I feel. But You never know, right? I mean, it depends. This is when knowing your audience and who's going to be or who you want to be playing your game is an important is important. But that in itself, that sounds simple. I promise you, it's not. So, as someone who's released more than a few projects, which are all relatively small, so it's not like I have professional experience, but I'll tell you right now that balancing what your target audience wants can be complex, but normally it's not. If you've been playing and or developing games for even like half a year, you should have an understanding of what players may what. I was supposed to actually. I was trying to be fancy there, but you should have an idea. The nuance there is that is that the correct word? Basically, what to be aware of is that this changes regularly as more games come out, and really as more games come out. The reason I say that is because other games can innovate, and therefore players may realize that they want. How do I phrase this correctly? Players may realize that they want, and they, I was gonna say rightfully so, but basically that when things are implemented into a game that a player really, really likes, games of the same genre should probably do the same thing. An example of this is, a really simple example is, say you have a visual novel type game, and most games, but some games come out with a gallery system, and some games do not. You really want to enable you want to add a lot of these things to the game. I just realized I did that for no reason. Well, hey. Fine, Mind Drain it is. I think we can prep attack right here, right? Yeah, 5 damage into a Mind Drain, 5 damage, so 15 damage overall. But yeah, adding a gallery system, adding a message log, basically, and if a game does not have, features that players would probably appreciate for the most part, then it would not be great, basically. So, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about when I say when things change over time. This is normally what I'm talking about. Obviously, players may realize what they may or may not want. Maybe a developer wants to go for a certain goal when they're making a game, and oftentimes when they're going for a goal here and there, sometimes developers get it right, sometimes they don't. Shrug. Also, I need to be mind draining more. 16 Reason moving into our third mystery is not good at all. So, can I do this? 75%. I'm just going to take the risk. Yeah, there we go. So, and yeah, how that relates to me specifically is that I'm thinking of a very specific game when I mentioned the complexity of systems for a player, and that is specifically not a mechanic or it is a design decision, but it's something that I'm thinking about for the type of game that I want to make, including Little Kitten, which I'm still working on, but I'm trying to also read it's not the correct word, but read the market, basically, in terms of what I want to make, and something that I want to make. Obviously, I do believe most, if not almost every developer should make a game that they want to make. If for no other reason than the motivation to make a game that you're interested in making helps out a lot. Shrug, but we'll take charisma for the moment. I should take knowledge, but I'm just going to take strength. Just in case I want to do a weird brace play, even though I'm using Mind Drain, or I can't Mind Drain anymore. But, yeah, that's basically the long and short of my game development progress in the past 4-ish days, or what little I could do. Along with looking at other games that I have on my plate, which I do think is important, but, yeah, trying to juggle everything is a bit of a, not a struggle, but it is a lot to do with everything else that I'm dealing with at the moment. That's not to say I feel like my life is currently hard or easy at the moment, but just know that I have stuff on my plate, in case you were ever doubting it. So, let's fight this replacement driver and move on. I haven't been keeping track of my max reason. I want to say I have at least 22 max reason left, because I know I used a lot in the television boss and otherwise. I also have a steak knife I can throw, but I haven't thrown it yet. So Doom-wise, we're doing very well. Reason-wise, we're still a little iffy. However, overall HP-wise, we are actually doing still very well, I feel. So we'll see if that holds. basically at this point, for anyone who wants some World of War advice, if your stamina is this, if you have like 9 plus stamina over reason or vice versa, I would say you really, really want to try and lose stamina over reason if you know the events, like I didn't do in that previous event. I just took reason damage. But as we get into this taxi chase here, we should be able to just take the stamina damage here. However, I do want to kind of pay attention because I've failed this chase before, and I still don't know the exact variables that this chase at the end of Taxi uses. You'd think I know by now, but I haven't done any homework at all, so shrug. Now, I was purposely trying to take decisions that would lower my stamina, but as you can see, I don't remember Taxi as much as I really should. Taxi is always in the rotation for my custom mysteries during this whole series, by the way. I also never use the gun, which is not good, but man, we have Mind Drain, we have the power. Now, we're probably at like 16, 17 max reason at this point, so let's find out. But, yeah, so, I mean, I could take the gamble here. What I really want to hit is the strong, though. So, we can option, no, we don't need to option select the spell. What we should option select, however, is the steak knife throw. So, yeah, if I did not hit that normal attack, then I would have thrown the knife. If I didn't hit the strong attack, I wouldn't have thrown the knife either, because we wouldn't have been able to defeat the taxis with 10 damage, assuming I hit the normal attack. Math! But yes, now that we have a full reason's worth for a regular run, we have 2 mysteries left, and I don't feel good. So, footage it is. Oh, my body. First aid does nothing, funny enough. And off we go. I mean, I can talk about Mimi and Eldritch Parasite. As I mentioned at the very beginning of the run, is that she does start with a weapon, so you don't have to use as much Doom or resources looking for another weapon, whether in the occult shop, or maybe you actually use the I want to call it the bone saw. Is it the bone saw? You get the point. It's another knowledge weapon, but if you do that, it's not like you're losing that much unless you care about your Doom. If you do care about your Doom, then yes, maybe using Scalpel would be better. But it depends on other factors in the run. Those are just the bigger factors. As we move to the level ups, and you saw me look at First Aid, on Eldritch Parasite specifically, yeah, you get the Scalpel, but you can't use First Aid because it can't heal any HP. What you do get, if you are lucky though, and you're not like me, and you just see First Aid, and you don't reroll, is that you can get Anatomy class and run into a lot of human enemies, primarily bosses. That would probably be for the best. We'll take this stamina damage in the face, by the way. 30 HP? I should just run here, but I should have absolutely just used the cigarettes at this point, but we'll take 6 stamina damage in the face. I don't want to. I think we have to, though. Unless I want to take reason damage, but I don't feel like taking that. Should have actually braced, now that I look at it. Yeah, I should have braced here. So, lost stamina for no reason. But again, we'll deal. Now, we can go through a mystery and not lose more than 5 stamina, but that would require a little bit of RNG. And, RNG and choice stat rolls, and also from events in general, what event we get, because even though the order is set for the run in a way, I think I got that right, it's not like you, the player, would know which events you're running into. We also get a lump of flesh. Unfortunately, we can't use it. So, just gonna check the lighthouse really quickly, but because I did forget my seconds. Tachi-san is at the end, so we'll try to sneak these foreign cigarettes into the later half of ramen. I almost said footage again. Now, hopefully we don't run into anything. Basically, when we get to the downtown investigation phase, we can use the cigarettes relatively safely. It should be near safety. I can't remember if you can ever get 9 cigarettes from a pack of cigarettes. I don't think so, right? I think it's minimum 10. Yeah. Actually, minimum 10 means I wouldn't get to Tachi-san. So, we'll just take this in the face, I guess. And I can't actually take this in the face. Well, we can handcuff, but yeah, we can handcuff, actually. Yeah, let's handcuff. So, I'm just gonna go all out here, because if we hit all of these, it would be great. But we only need to hit one. If I missed all 3 of those, I would have just done a fake flip back onto the bed that's right behind me. So, shrug. We're also on encounter lockout now, so we can just investigate for a while. Wow, way to give me nothing, by the way. We'll take charisma just in case, but at this point, use the foreign cigarettes. And now we should have enough. And we got like 15 cigarettes, so we definitely have enough for Takushi-san. What we don't have is any room for RNG, because if really weird things happen, I could just lose like 5 to 6 reason immediately, and that would have killed me. But on the other hand, oh, it's too late. I'm already here. Well, probably could have sneaked another level up, but it's not like we needed another perk anyway. So, as we take our last bath and go to the lighthouse, we should be okay here. We have 8 in strength, knowledge, and charisma, so our stamina reason threshold is relatively good. As for anything else that happens in this run, well, I didn't actually think I was going to survive this run with how much reason damage I took, but this is what I mean by, well, one, we got lucky with Mind Drain, but this is also what I mean when I said long times ago about how strategy helps you out more than RNG in World of Horror. RNG is still a big factor, don't get me wrong, but it's not as big of a factor as one may seem. So, as this was, I was thinking this was actually going to be the some kind of season finale to Mimi and May, because there's only so many days in May 2026. We'll probably do one more tomorrow. Again, I need another filler day to kind of just finish everything that I have on the current plate I'm working on. So yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching. I'll see you later. But if you have anything saying you want to do,